After starting a job as a matchmaker in a marriage agency, I unexpectedly saw my husband's profile in a blind date group. The no tread, not divorced yet but looking first. Wife is infertile. Looking for someone who can have children. Well, to prevent him from being sad. I didn't tell him the fact that it's actually he who is infertile. Unexpectedly, thinking that I am infertile, he secretly came to a blind date to find his next wife. While I was fuming, Sister Scarlett recommended someone. A no tread, post-zeros escort girl. Just got pregnant and urgently looking for a patsy. Requires good job and good economic conditions. She said that I should quickly pair her up for a blind date because the baby in her belly can't wait. I stared at the notes of my husband and the escort girl and fell into deep thought. One wants a young woman to have a child, and the other is in a hurry to find a patsy. It's simply a match made in heaven. I silently decided to be a matchmaker for them once. Unfortunately, I am using a newly registered small account specifically for work. My husband has no idea that the matchmaker communicating with him is me. I changed the name of the small account to Under the Moon Matchmaker, and then added my husband to privately message him. Hello, Mr. Jason. I am the matchmaker in charge of you. First, I will send you some profiles and photos. You pick out the ones you are interested in, and then I will arrange for you to have further contact. Is that okay? He replied very quickly and simply, send it over. I repackaged the profile of the escort girl Chloe according to Jason's preferences and sent it to him along with the profiles of several other blind date women. As expected, among all the profiles, he picked Chloe and another woman named Jasmine, and said that he could have further contact. The photo of Jasmine was photoshopped by me. After getting the consent of Chloe and Jasmine, I began to arrange meetings for them. I first arranged for Jasmine and Jason to meet at an upscale restaurant, with candlelight and red wine, creating a romantic atmosphere. Just as Jason was looking forward to the meeting, Jasmine appeared. Her dress and appearance seemed very young, but the wrinkles and freckles on her face gave Jason a shock. She was completely different from the person in the photo, and could never be a post-90s. Jasmine had hidden her real age. Jason's face was very ugly, and he sent a long message scolding me. You photoshopped the photos like that. Did the matchmaker's conscience be eaten by dogs? You pay for this meal. I won't see the next one either. I knew he would be furious. So I quickly comforted him, and said, Jason, since you're already here, you might as well see her. I have only seen Jasmine's photo, but I have seen Chloe in person. Her photo is definitely not photoshopped. If you find that Chloe doesn't match the photo, I promise to refund all your membership fees. He grumbled impatiently and sat down. However, the next moment, when Chloe appeared in a pure long dress in front of him, his eyes were glued to her. There is no comparison without harm. I knew that he was completely struck by Chloe's young beauty. Jason can be considered young and promising. At the age of 28, he is already the assistant to the chairman of a well-known, listed company at the director level, with an annual salary of more than $1 million, which fully meets Chloe's requirements. Chloe is very satisfied. As soon as her occupational habit kicks in, she starts to flirt with Jason intentionally or unintentionally, which makes me, sitting in the corner wearing a baseball cap and observing, extremely anxious. Being too bold at the beginning is easy to scare Jason away. Chloe may be used to conquering men with her body, but in fact, men like to conquer shy women and let women become bold step by step under their guidance. At least Jason is like this. I kept reminding Chloe to hold back, and not be like a hungry wolf. She should regard herself as prey and wait for him to hunt. Only then did Chloe give up the idea of taking Jason to open a room after dinner and pretended to be half reluctant and exchanged contact information with Jason. I breathed a sigh of relief. Only then did I realize belatedly that I was teaching another woman how to efficiently seduce my own husband. This sounds a bit neurotic. Watching them walk out of the restaurant, I also began to pack up and go home. I arrived home earlier than Jason. He came back after sending Chloe off. Jason was in a good mood and took the initiative to talk to me. How is your new job? Are you still getting used to it? While I was tidying up the house, I perfunctorily replied, well, it's okay. A majority of the salary comes from commissions. This is too unstable. Luna, you should make a career plan for yourself. What should you do if you can't rely on me in the future? Haven't I always been doing jobs that earn commissions? Calculated. I earn no less than you. Also, what do you mean by not being able to rely on in the future? He looked away guiltily. I mean, for example, if I am laid off or something. I thought to myself that it would be best if he was really laid off. Maybe he is still moved by himself now, thinking that he is a good person. Before abandoning me, he still gave some kind words of advice with a clear conscience. I stopped what I was doing and asked him with a smile, husband, will we get divorced? He frantically searched for the TV remote control on the coffee table, shouting, hey, where is the remote control? Have you seen it? Men are always like this. For questions they don't want to answer, they will pretend not to hear and then change the topic. However, I have already got the answer. And he will also get everything he deserves. Jason leaned on the bedside, chatting on social software comfortably, with the corners of his mouth almost reaching the sky. From time to time, he let out a silly giggle. And I am still working overtime miserably, guiding Chloe word by word on what to say when chatting with Jason. As for Jason, I know him inside out. Of course, I know how to chat subtly to stir up his excited nerves. The specific situation is that Chloe cuts and sends me a sentence from Jason. Then, according to the way of conversation that Jason will like, I reply with a sentence. Chloe then copies and pastes the sentence I replied, and sends it to Jason. Chloe sends screenshots while praising me. Luna, sis, you're really amazing. Your VIP service is truly in place. If I end up with Jason, I'll introduce more clients to you. I don't provide such thorough service to every VIP client. And Jason, who is smiling as if he's deeply in love, probably will never know until he dies that the person really chatting with him is actually me. This feeling of deceiving him like a fool finally somewhat dilutes my anger at being betrayed. Jason smiles like a silly boy and suddenly leans over to my side. Wife, what are you doing? I quickly turn my phone slightly. The privacy screen only allows him to see the dark reflection on my phone screen. Obviously, he's having an affair. Yet it makes me feel like a thief with a guilty conscience. I show a tired expression. What else can I be doing? Working overtime. For people like us who earn commissions, we have to maintain clients at all times. He has a fawning smile. Wife, you've worked hard. Do you have time tomorrow to help me pick a bag? I have a female client. The boss told me to buy a nice bag and send it over. I don't know what kind of bag girls would like. Wife, help me pick one. It seems that this chatting wasn't in vain. The progress is so rapid that he's about to take the initiative to give Chloe a luxury bag. I give him a perfunctory smile. No time. No wonder he can be a director's assistant. I really admire his shamelessness. He can ask his current wife to pick a luxury bag for his future potential wife without blushing or having a guilty conscience. As a person who flatters clients every day to get large commissions, I can't be so shameless. For Chloe soon received the luxury bag sent by Jason. The style of the bag is exactly the same as the new model I bought last month. She is very happy. After asking for my opinion, after restraining for 2 days, finally under Jason's persistent pestering, she half reluctantly goes to a hotel and opens a room. Once the restraint is lifted, it becomes increasingly out of control. Jason starts staying out overnight every 2 or 3 days. After a few more days, he starts using business trips as an excuse and doesn't come home for half a month in a row. Occasionally when he comes home, he also starts finding various reasons to pick on me, quarrel with me, and have a cold war. When it's almost a month, Chloe tells Jason that she is pregnant and asks when they can get married. 2 days later, Chloe comes to deliver wedding candies and says that she has accepted Jason's proposal. She thanks our company for finding such a good life partner for her. She also gives me a big red envelope and stuffs into my hand. Luna. Sis. You must accept it. If it weren't for you, how could I marry a husband with such good conditions? Jason is rich and generous. So don't feel burdened after accepting it. She also sighs. When I was with a boss before, his wife at home watched him closely. Buying me anything had to be done secretly. How could it be like Jason who can spend money on me as he wants? I don't hesitate to accept the big red envelope. It's a thick stack. At least 10,000 yuan. This is my family's money. Now another woman is using my family's money and thanking me for matchmaking her with my husband. This feeling is really absurd. Now that the fish has grown up, it's time to reel in the net. In the evening, Jason comes home and continues to pick on me on the pretext that I didn't mop the floor dry enough and makes me fall. And we have a big fight. I know he is deliberately provoking me, waiting for me to go back to my parents' home in anger. Then he won't bother to pick me up. Subsequently, he will take the opportunity to propose divorce. Immediately after that, he will beat drums and gongs to welcome his new bride. This cunning dog of a man wants to kick me out so easily. It's just a dream. This house was bought after we got married. His family didn't pay a penny. I also didn't pay less on the mortgage. Why should I go back to my parents' home every time we quarrel? And he can comfortably occupy the big house? Sisters, remember, when there's a fight, do as I will do next. Kick the man out. Don't foolishly go back to your parents' home and give the man space. I catering to his expectation and gaze. She walked straight to the main entrance, opened the door, pointed outside, and roared at him full of momentum. You can stay in this house if you like. If not, get out. I mopped the floor and it became a mistake. Get out. Get out. Don't be an eyesore in front of me. He didn't expect me to tell him to get out. After being stunned for a moment, he grabbed his coat and walked out. Luna, don't you regret this? I sneered, listening to him slam the door loudly. Sure enough, his dignity led him out of this big house. Immediately after, I received a message from him on my phone. Luna, let's get a divorce. After so much hard work, it's finally time to reap the fruits. Does he think divorce is an easy thing? If I don't peel off a layer of his skin, I'm not Luna. 5 The next day after he stormed out, I found someone to change the door lock. Chloe shares with me on WeChat that Jace and personally took her to the hospital for set up a file and prenatal checkups. She says Jason really loves children, and can't imagine what a family-oriented man Jason will be in the future. She also takes pictures of Jason's big house and shares them with me. She says she has moved into Jason's house and is living with him. Her future mother-in-law is particularly nice and has moved in to take care of her daily life. Where does Jason have a second house? This house is just rented by him. I wonder what Chloe's reaction will be when she knows the house is rented. She is still sharing her happiness with me and asks me, Luna, sis, you have experience. Are men who love children all family-oriented good men? I say maybe. So you must hold on to this man who can bring you happiness. She also says, I must have saved the galaxy in my previous life to still have a happy ending after being a mistress for so many years. Honestly, I don't believe in karma anymore. You don't know. When I was found out by the original wife of my sugared Addie before, I pushed the pregnant original wife and caused her to miscarry during the scuffle. For a while, I always had nightmares and worried that my child wouldn't have a good ending. Unexpectedly, Jason treasures me and the child very much. Now I can finally rest assured. What on earth have I done to make her trust me so much that she repeatedly tells me about her past as a mistress in front of me? I am destined to betray her trust. While chatting, suddenly I receive a call from Jason. He interrogates me. Luna, what do you mean? Why did you change the door lock at home? Isn't he now skipping work and accompanying Chloe for prenatal checkup at the hospital? How could he know that the door lock at home has been changed? Probably. Before I could speak, Jason continued to shout. Mom went to deliver the divorce agreement. Opened the door quickly. Sure enough, it's my mother-in-law. She has the key to our house and always comes without making a sound. It's as if she would die if she gave a heads up in advance. This time I changed the lock and she doesn't have the key. It serves her right to have made a wasted trip. I directly said that I was still at work and couldn't open the door. And then hung up the phone. In the next second, Jason's call came in again. Luna, is that a proper job? Hurry back and open the door. Don't let Mom wait outside. So in his and his mother's hearts, I am a woman without a proper job and unable to have children. Therefore, they want to draw a clear line with me immediately, even though I earn no less than him. As for me, when I got his diagnosis report of infertility, although I really like children, I still made up my mind not to have children in this lifetime, and spend my life with him. Even to prevent him from being sad and feeling ashamed, I took the blame for being unable to get pregnant. Facts have proved that caring for men will make oneself unfortunate. I replied coldly to him on the phone, if your mom doesn't want to wait, she can come to my company to find me. And I joined a regular company and earn legally recognized income by the country. Please don't slander my job. He was so angry but had no way out. After all, it was he who was in a hurry to get a divorce, so he could only let his mother continue to deliver the divorce agreement to my company under the scorching sun. When my mother-in-law arrived at my company, this time she didn't ask Jason to call me but dialed my number herself. Luna, I'm at your company's front desk. Where are you? I smiled faintly. I have gone out on business. If you are in a hurry, wait for me at the company. If not, you can deliver it next time. My mother-in-law was so angry that her voice was trembling. Luna, are you doing this on purpose? 6 Sure enough. They're both foxes who have lived for 1,000 years and can't pretend to be big-tailed wolves. But I am doing it on purpose. What can she do? I deliberately made my mother-in-law run around like this for about 10 times and directly made her so angry that she had to go to the hospital to inhale oxygen. Jason rushed to my home to seek justice for his mother and slapped the door so loudly that it shook the sky, attracting the onlookers of many neighbors. I opened the door amid the onlookers and took the initiative to say, "Do you still know to come back? Why didn't you die outside with your mistress?" The neighbors all stuck out their heads like onlookers who love gossip, and their eyes were filled with excitement at getting new gossip. Jason felt extremely uncomfortable under the scrutinizing and condemning gazes of his neighbors who saw him as a scumbag. Pushing the door, he said, "Don't make a scene here. Let's go home and close the door to talk." I firmly blocked him at the door and sneered, "It's not me who is making a scene. It's not my fault that my husband cheated on me. Why should I feel ashamed? Those who can live in this high-end community are probably all decent people. They have never seen someone like me who yells about being cheated on." The neighbors found it novel and watched with even greater interest. Not only did they watch, but they also pointed at Jason full of righteousness and scolded him extremely harshly. Yes. Don't let this scumbag in. If someone like this steps on the floor, it won't be clean even after mopping it 10 times. Jason's face turned green, standing there helplessly. He gritted his teeth and asked me, "You already know. Why are you still dragging this out? What do you want to agree to divorce?" I thought seriously and said, "It's you who betrayed love and family. I must keep either money or family. If you voluntarily leave with nothing, I can consider divorcing and let you and your mistress achieve a happy ending. Of course, you can also take your time to consider. After all, it's the mistress who is pregnant, not me. I'm not in a hurry." Jason taunted me, "You want to be pregnant, but you have to be able to. You are just jealous. Jealousy makes you mentally abnormal." I didn't care when I heard this. Being said a few words wouldn't make me lose a piece of flesh. But the just neighbors wouldn't let it go. "This kind of scumbag cheated on you and still scolds you. Silly girl. Don't agree to divorce him. Drag it out and make the child of the mistress a forever despised and ridiculed illegitimate child." Jason is used to being an assistant to the boss. except for nodding and bowing in front of the boss. Everyone else flatters and curries favor with him. Where has he seen such a situation? He said resentfully, Luna. You are so ruthless. Fine. I'll leave with nothing. Are you satisfied now? We'll go to the Civil Affairs Bureau tomorrow. After he finished speaking, he turned to leave. I called out to him. He turned back and asked me viciously if I wanted to go back on my word. I smiled. No. I don't want to go back on my word. But since you said you want to leave with nothing, everything you are wearing including your underwear is bought by me. You can't take it away. Right? 7. The neighbors burst into laughter. Their eyes were shining with excitement as they stared at him intently, waiting to see him make a fool of himself. That's how I am. When in love, I love passionately. When not in love anymore, I will surely seek revenge. I just looked at him calmly and waited for him to take off all his clothes and slink away in disgrace from the crowd. Someone even held up their phone to record. I coughed and reminded them in a friendly way, neighbors who want to record, just keep it for your own viewing. Don't spread it. Spreading such things will land you in jail. Everyone laughed so hard that they couldn't straighten up. Jason was about to go crazy. His fists were clenched tightly. Luna. Don't go too far. I stared closely at his eyes and took a step forward. I am going too far. What are you going to do about it? Jason's fists were clenched so tightly that they made a creaking sound. Suddenly, a neighbor said indignantly, Silly girl. Where are you going too far? You are not going too far at all. He wears the clothes you bought for him and makes another woman pregnant. That's what's really going too far. You just took back the clothes you bought for him. It's reasonable and legal. Girl, this is not excessive at all. If anyone dares to hit you, I will be the first to stand up and act bravely. The imposing manner that I had finally condensed was broken by the neighbor's elder brother's words of acting bravely. Seeing that he couldn't get any advantage, Jason wanted to leave. As a result, he was surrounded by several neighbors. Why? You want to leave without returning the girl's clothes after wearing them? Surrounded by onlookers, Jason angrily took off his shirt, threw it hard on me, then bent down and took off his pants and threw them on the ground. His eyes were red with humiliation. Luna, are you satisfied now? I shook my head. The underwear is also bought by me. Jason became furious this time. He walked up to me and punched down. Luna, will you die if you take a step back? Will you die? His fist was blocked by the neighbor's elder brother. A neighbor's elder brother rolled up his sleeves and revealed his muscular arms. Cheating scumbags should be beaten by everyone. What are you being so arrogant about? Jason was beaten up by the crowd and then fled in defeat. The muscle-bound elder brother who led the way smiled and said, Luna, are you satisfied? How was our performance? I couldn't be more satisfied. I took out a thick stack of prepared money and stuffed it into his hand, and let them divide it among themselves. Then I took them to a nearby restaurant and had a good meal. In fact, they are not neighbors. After I received a call from Jason that he was coming, these people came from my hometown on my mother's side. We leave early and return late. We basically don't know many neighbors here. There are no neighbors with so much free time to come out and watch the excitement. Everyone is very busy. After seeing them off, I returned home and printed out the divorce agreement drafted by a professional lawyer. After reading it item by item, and finding no problems, I put it in an envelope. When I go to the Civil Affairs Bureau tomorrow, I will let Jason sign my copy. The next day I got up early. After washing up, I was about to go out to the Civil Affairs Bureau as promised. When I opened the door, I saw my mother-in-law sitting angrily in front of my door. Luna, you poisonous woman. Even the king of hell is not as vicious as you. The house and car that my son bought with great difficulty. Why should my son leave the house and property and get nothing? With her face full of flesh, she made a scene, crying and wailing, and slapping her palms loudly. Everyone come out and have a look and talk about reason. This evil daughter-in-law can't give birth to a child herself. She still won't let my son divorce. She wants the Jason family to die out. Very good. As a salesperson, what difficult scenes haven't I seen? What I like the most is dealing with this kind of unreasonable old woman who makes a scene. 9. I leaned against the door frame and looked at her coldly. She wailed a couple of times and found that there was not even half an onlooker. Thinking that the commotion was not big enough, she stood up and even stomped her feet, using both hands and feet and wailing. She couldn't be more dedicated. Unfortunately, the neighbor opposite had already gone to work. No one watched her performance at all. It's such a pity that no one watched such a dedicated performance. Out of great compassion, I took a picture of her disheveled and crying appearance. I called up Chloe's and held the phone in front of her. Let Chloe see the true face of her future mother-in-law. How about it? She instantly stopped making noise and was stunned. You. How do you have Chloe's contact? How could I not have Chloe's contact? I was the one who pulled the red thread between her and Jason. I said with a smile. Chloe regards me as her best friend and shares everything with me. You said. In return, should I also share some things with her? Such as your current appearance? For example, I am Jason's wife who hasn't divorced yet. The mother-in-law was like a dead cannon that had gone out. She stared at me in silence. So I kindly guessed her thoughts. You don't speak? Then let her see you're making a scene first. It can also serve as a reminder for her so that she won't suffer a big loss like me. The mother-in-law instantly grabbed my hand holding the phone. Her legs involuntarily softened and she knelt down with a plop. Luna, I have been looking forward to a grandson for a long time. I beg you. Let me and my son go. Okay? I stepped aside and pretended to be surprised and said, early in the morning. Why did you come here to worship the door god of my house? Oh, it's really unlucky. Go away quickly. She left very reluctantly, looking back 3 times at every step. Luna, you are a good child. Don't send it to Chloe. Otherwise, I won't be able to live. If I were really the good child she said, I would have been completely exploited by them long ago. I just smiled and didn't make any promises. I want her to live in constant anxiety. In the middle of the morning, Jason called and questioned me why I didn't go to the Civil Affairs Bureau as promised. I sent him the video of his mother making a scene here and made up nonsense. I was so angry by your mother that my blood pressure soared and I fainted as soon as I went out. The doctor told me to rest in bed. Jason was defeated. Are you 2 women sent by heaven to deal with me? Ah? I sighed faintly. Go home and ask your mother about this. 10. Chloe has been very anxious recently. She said that Jason and his mother had a big fight in front of her, and then drove his mother away. She asked me if it was possible that his mother didn't want to serve her here and so she and Jason were acting in front of her. Of course not. It was Jason who was defeated and went back to settle accounts with his mother. Thinking of that old woman being driven out by her son and crying and sniveling as she went back to her hometown, I felt very happy. I asked Chloe if their wedding date had been set. Such a good man must be grasped quickly. She said it was set on the 10th day of next month and preparations are already underway. I glanced at the calendar. Today is already the 8th day. If Jason can't get the divorce certificate by the 10th day of next month, he will be in a dilemma. Either he will commit bigamy, or he will have to find a way to hold back Chloe. No wonder he is so anxious and on edge. He endures his anger and lets me manipulate him. I don't know which genius came up with the cooling off period for divorce. Moreover, if either party backs out during the cooling off period, they can't get divorced. Jason can't afford to go through the litigation process for divorce. During the cooling off period, he is tortured enough by me and doesn't dare to utter a word of complaint. Later, Jason can only beg me, dear lady, in all conscience, haven't I been good enough to you? The house and car all belong to you. Even my salary after marriage has been calculated by you one by one and all given to you. I haven't treated you unfairly. Have I? We have come to the point of divorce. Isn't the main fault on you? We divorced because you can't have children. The main fault is on you. As a result, I leave the house with nothing. What else are you not satisfied with? We are all decent people. Let's part amicably. Please. For my sake. Okay? What kind of decent person does a cheating scumbag pretend to be? Parting amicably doesn't exist for me. If I don't torture him, it's a disservice to my sincere efforts over the years. On the day when we were to go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to get the divorce certificate, Jason was so afraid that I would back out. According to my request, he rented 10 luxury cars early and parked them downstairs in the community. Each luxury car was pasted with slogans, "We are divorced. I am a despised cheating scumbag. I am sorry to my wife. Don't be impulsive in getting married. Be cautious in getting divorced." Each slogan is very eye-catching, attracting onlookers and exclamations from residents in the community. Jason got out of the car wearing a mask and invited me, saying with embarrassment, "Does it have to be like this? We are just getting a divorce. Can we be low-key?" I asked him, "Do you still want to get the certificate?" "Yes. Yes. Yes. You have the final say. If you want it. Take off the mask and let everyone see the true face of a cheating scumbag." Jason refused to take off the mask no matter what and begged me to leave him a last shred of dignity. "That's not impossible." I winked at the few people who had come from my hometown and were mixed in the onlookers. They then threw eggs and rotten vegetables at Jason in unison. Jason was pelted and scurried around with his head in his arms, covered in the sticky mess of eggs. He hurriedly hid in the car. I looked at him and laughed, saying, "Jason, when you got married, people sprayed ribbons. When you got divorced, people threw eggs. You really have a great show." Just from his voice, one could tell that he had reached his limit. "Hurry up. Hurry up and go to the Civil Affairs Bureau." The divorce motorcade was really too conspicuous. Along the way, people were taking pictures of our divorce motorcade. Some even followed us all the way to the Civil Affairs Bureau. I got out of the car generously. He was wearing a mask and cowering. As soon as his dirty suit jacket appeared, his wretched look elicited a burst of laughter. I don't know what he is feeling at this moment. Anyway, I am extremely satisfied with this divorce. We both came out of the Civil Affairs Bureau holding the divorce certificates. He let out a long breath, as if he had finally escaped from my clutches and regained a new life. He doesn't know that this is just the beginning. The real retribution is just beginning to unfold. On the 10th day, his wedding with Chloe was grandly held on schedule in a hotel. At Chloe's invitation, I attended their wedding as a matchmaker. Chloe was very enthusiastic to thank me for my matchmaking. She added a gratitude session for the matchmaker in the wedding ceremony and insisted that I go on stage to send blessings to the two of them. She is my client. Since the client has a request, I naturally agreed. When Jason saw me at the hotel, his face turned green instantly. As soon as he uttered, "Dear lady," Chloe beside me took my hand affectionately and said, "Sister Luna, you're finally here. I arranged for you to sit at the main table with a name card that says Matchmaker under the moon." Jason's eyes were about to pop out. We had been in contact before, and he didn't know that the matchmaker under the moon was me. He knew that he had been tricked by me. His face was extremely ugly, but Chloe was right beside him. Of course, he wouldn't take the initiative to expose that I was his ex-wife. He could only endure it. I reached out my hand to him. "Jason, we finally meet. Congratulations to you both." His expression was extremely wonderful. He forced a smile and reached out his hand too. But he couldn't hold my hand because his ex-mother-in-law directly charged at me from the side. "Luna, why are you haunting us? Won't you be satisfied until you ruin our family?" Chloe looked at her in confusion and then at Jason in puzzlement. Jason was dripping with sweat on his forehead. He quickly pulled his mother away and explained to Chloe, "Mom is having a relapse and talking nonsense again. Don't worry about it. I'll deal with it." The ex-mother-in-law who was having a relapse was anxiously pulled away by Jason. Chloe apologized to me. "Sister Luna, I'm sorry. I made you see a joke. I don't know what's wrong with my mother-in-law." After the last argument with Jason, She has been a bit strange. I said generously. It's okay. It's really not easy for you to get along with such a strange mother-in-law. Chloe then smiled. I don't have to get along with my mother-in-law. Jason is rich and said that he will hire a nanny for me as soon as we get married. Oh. Jason is probably in a lot of debt now, right? Not to mention hiring an nanny. It's hard to say if he can afford to pay the rent for their big house after the wedding. These two people's marriage is full of landmines. I don't know which one will explode first. I was giving blessings on stage while Jason's relatives and friends were whispering among themselves below. Suddenly, a little girl stood up and said loudly, Auntie, why are you sending wedding blessings to Uncle and another woman? Is Uncle taking a concubine? The speaker was the daughter of Jason's sister. Sweat broke out on Jason's forehead. Feeling guilty, he glanced at Chloe. Jason had fully experienced the slow torture like being cut by a blunt knife. Jason's sister immediately covered the little girl's mouth and warned her not to talk nonsense. People who talk nonsense will be taken away by the police. The little girl burst into tears. Jason's sister explained to the puzzled Chloe. Sister-in-law, don't take offense. This child has been taught by my mother to call every beautiful woman auntie. Jason also quickly said a lot of sweet words to change the topic. I was about to step down from the stage after giving my blessings when I suddenly received a strange call. Are you Jason's wife? The rent has been overdue for half a month. Pay it quickly. Absurd. The rent collection call came to me. I directly said, you have the wrong number. I am not his wife. The landlord said anxiously. He left your number as the emergency contact. I don't care if you are his wife or his mother. Pay the rent quickly. Otherwise, get out of my house. That bastard Jason didn't even answer the phone today. I was also angry and directly said, I am his grand aunt. His rent has nothing to do with me at all. The landlord was almost driven mad. I don't care who you are. Give the phone to Jason. I looked at Jason, who was exchanging rings with Chloe, and handed him the phone. Excuse me. Your landlord's rent collection call is coming. 14 Chloe. Jason. Jason was completely overwhelmed by the successive situations. He picked up the phone and shouted. Collect your fing rent. It's my wedding. It's my wedding. If you call again to collect rent, I will smash your house. After saying that, he was about to smash the phone. I signaled that the phone was mine and asked him to return it to me. He couldn't smash the phone. With no way to vent his anger, he put his hand on his forehead, took a deep breath facing the sky, and then handed the phone back to me. Chloe, who had already been suspicious, asked me at this time, what rent? I couldn't lie to a bride, so I told the truth. Your wedding house is rented by Jason. When he rented the house, he left me as the emergency contact. Now the landlord has called me to collect the rent. Chloe couldn't think clearly. She could only turn to ask Jason. What does this mean? As a person with an annual salary of missing amount here, your wedding house is actually rented? And you still owe rent? And why did you fill in Luna's number as the emergency contact? Why did he fill in my number? Probably when filling in the emergency contact, he didn't think carefully and habitually wrote me down. Men, when doing bad things, they don't pay attention to details. Jason, who had just been angry to the point of breakdown, faced Chloe's questioning and stammered. Chloe, you are pregnant. Don't be angry first. Listen to my explanation. Chloe suddenly became furious. What's there to explain? You poor devil. You liar. She then looked at me and accused me excitedly. I said it. What kind of high-quality men can there be in marriage recommendations? Are you two colluding to deceive me? You are all big liars. You deceive people for sex and marriage. It's unjust. They got their marriage certificate yesterday and held their wedding today. Now that Chloe found out that Jason is a poor devil who can't even pay the rent, she was directly on the verge of collapse. In fact, she doesn't have to be like this. With an annual salary of $600,000, as long as she gives Jason more time, He can definitely make a comeback. It's a pity that Chloe used to be in contact with only rich and powerful people. She simply can't wait for Jason to slowly save money to buy a house and a car. Chloe excitedly tore off her veil and desperately pounded on Jason with her hands, cursing with vulgar language. She completely ignored the pure persona she had pretended before. Extremely dirty words continuously gushed out of her cherry-like little mouth. Jason endured the humiliation, while coaxing Chloe to be careful with the child in her belly, and not to get angry and harm her body. He glared at me angrily, wishing he could skin me and pull out my tendons. So you hate me now? There's something that will make you hate me even more. I directly took out his infertility diagnosis report from my pocket, threw it into his arms, and said, "By the way, there is still one thing of yours left with me. Now I return it to its owner." 16 At first, Jason was only focused on coaxing Chloe to be careful with the fetus in her belly, and didn't even look at the diagnosis report. He only warned me not to cause trouble anymore. The master of ceremonies picked up the diagnosis report and curiously read out the name and diagnosis on it through the microphone. The relatives and friends, who were already watching the excitement at the wedding, suddenly received the shocking news that Jason was infertile, and all turned their eyes to Chloe's belly. Jason didn't pay attention at first. It wasn't until he heard clearly what it was that he frantically snatched the diagnosis report from the master of ceremonies. After reading it, his whole body was shaking. And after the former mother-in-law heard it, she couldn't bear the shock and directly fainted with her eyes rolling upward. Jason stared at that piece of paper for a full 3 minutes. During these 3 minutes, Chloe's expression changed again and again. She was extremely angry just now, but now she is very guilty. She looked at me, frowned, and asked, "Who are you exactly?" I smiled. "I am your matchmaker, his ex-wife. I came today to bring you the truth. After all, if you discover each other's true faces after the wedding is over, it will be too late." Chloe cursed at me. "You vicious woman. I thought of you as my closest best friend." Laughable. Who would want to be best friends with a habitual mistress? I am not the Buddha. I don't have that kind of enlightenment to think that every repentant person can become a Buddha on the spot. I just want them to receive due punishment and have no good endings. Jason pulled Chloe past me. He has completely lost his mind, completely disregarding Chloe's pregnancy. He roughly shakes her and hysterically shouts, "Chloe, whose child is this? How many men have you slept with and then come to me to take over? Do you know how Luna tortured me when I got divorced for this child? Do you know that I wanted to die every day because of being tortured? And it turns out that this child is not mine? Is it a bastard born from you and another man? Chloe, you must die today. Will you die by yourself? Or should I do it?" Chloe, looking at Jason, who is furious like a lion, touches her own stomach and retreats in succession. She is so frightened that she even forgets to cry. She takes a step back, and Jason takes a step forward. She retreats to the edge of the stage, misses a step, and falls directly. Soon, the dark red carpet is filled with bright red blood. The wedding is in chaos. I extricate myself from this mess and drive out of the hotel parking lot. Outside, the spring scenery is wonderful. I also decide to start my own new life. 17. 3 years later, when my current husband and I were pushing our child and shopping, we saw an old woman with white hair rummaging through cardboard boxes in the trash can. The old woman saw me and tottered over, crying and telling me about the aftermath of that wedding. She said that Chloe had a miscarriage. On the second day of her treatment in the hospital, she disappeared from the hospital and never came back. As for Jason, either because of a heavy blow or something else, he has become crazy and is now living in a mental hospital for treatment. Hospitalization fees are a considerable expense. As an old woman in her 60s, she has no suitable job to do. She can only pick up cardboard boxes and bottles and sell them for as much money as possible. She asked me if, considering how pitiful they are, I could remarry Jason and go back to take care of the two of them. I really want to laugh in anger. Does she know what she is talking about? Before leaving, She looked longingly at the child in our car again. You have a child. It's good to have a child. Our old Jason family has an heir. After hearing this sentence, my husband nervously quickly held at his arms and pulled me to leave quickly. I think she is a bit mentally ill too. Indeed. Looking at her sickly longing eyes when looking at the child. If we don't leave quickly, I am worried that the child will be snatched by her. I looked back at her in ragged clothes. In order to have a child, they have made themselves like this. Is it worth it? This answer may only be answered by themselves. The end.